So a lot of people have been asking me, what is the better advantage in prison? Mental fitness or physical fitness? Having a strong mind or a strong body? Having a weak body, a strong mind, a weak mind, a strong body? We're going to get into that one right here. Yeah, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Prison Break Raw. I'm your host, the one and only Big JD. If you enjoy this content, please give it a subscribe, give it a thumbs up, leave some messages or comments. Also, feel free to share it. Sharing is caring. Share it around to your family, your friends, your coworkers, anywhere and everywhere in your social media platforms. All right, strong mind, strong body. Which one places you at a better advantage inside the prison system? I'm going to be the first one to tell you that it does not matter how tall you are, how short you are, if you're skinny as a rail, if you're fat as all hell as a well, if you're on swole, or if you're anywhere in between, if you got a prosthetic leg or a prosthetic arm, if you're deaf, if you're blind, if you're in a wheelchair, whatever it is, does not matter. The one thing that it was always will make you the superior man inside of an institution is the strong mind. The physical body will follow suit if you learn how to develop this first. You have to feed it with knowledge. That's your workout program. That's your routine. That's your burpees. Your burpees is filling your mind with knowledge and advancing yourself and using it to your advantage. I've seen a million dudes go in there, and all they do is just bust down burpees and hit them bars and play pinochle and do all that shit. When they get out, they are not prepared from the streets. I'm going to tell you why. It's all about your support system once you get out. If you know you are going out to zero support, all that physical bullshit ain't going to do you no good. Prison is just like any other intense environment. It's 90% mental and 10% physical. It's just like any other intense environment, whether you be in combat, a surgeon in an emergency room, whether you be in a high-impact kind of sports like the NFL or hockey or anything like that, boxing, your mind needs to be 90% above your physical. It's just the way it's got to be. I've seen the most successful cars ran by dudes you would never in a million years think that they should be running that car. They don't look the part. They don't fit the criteria for the optics, according to what people think a shot caller is supposed to look like. Have you ever seen that movie Red Heat? The leader of the Clean Heads was a short, skinny, blind guy. He was the guy that was running the Clean Heads. Why? Because his brain was wired for it. Sonny Barger, the guy that runs the Hells Angels, he's known to not be able to fight his way out of a wet paper bag, but guess what? Smart dude. Very intelligent. Same thing with, like, you could take it to another extreme example, like Charles Manson. You know what I mean? He couldn't beat himself in a fight. But he was smart. He knew how to use that brain. A strong mind will always make you superior. To become a cerebral assassin is the goal. That was my goal this last time I was in. I knew that I was going to be going to a hopeless situation. I'm like the game of chess. I'm 10 moves ahead. I knew years before I got out that I was probably going to lose my mother. I just had a feeling. I knew that nobody was going to accept me in their house to where I could release to. I knew that I was never going to be able to go back to California because most of my family and everybody over there is on parole, on the run, or involved in the justice system at some level or some degree. My sisters were done with me. I had no choice but to go back to a city and state where I've never lived in and didn't even know it existed until I drove through it, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And here I am. And don't think that I'm knocking anybody for building up their body. But if you build up your mind, a strong body will follow suit. I'm just saying that a lot of these dudes that are all about the physical, they're usually the first ones to fall when they get out. And none of that shit even really matters. Because when you're in a fight, when you're in a riot, when the shit gets real physical in there, it gets violent, if you don't know how to use your head, none of that shit's going to do you any good. You may get too overconfident and it may be your ass. I've seen it a lot of times. Eastmax, LA County Jail. White dude came in. He was a French dude from France. Little pot-belly, skinny little kid, man. Got up onto his bunk, planted his shoes down right onto his mattress, and we all know that's a no-no. For like the homies, when them lights go on, our mattresses are rolled up, and they don't unravel until those lights go out. Nobody sleeps in the day, and you keep your shoes on at all times, but when you're on your bunk, you keep your feet off to the side. And if you're on the top bunk, you make sure nobody's down below you when you're coming down, and you're not knocking all kinds of trash and everything up onto his mattress or on the top of his head. But this French dude would do it every single time, and the homie was in the bunk below him. There was this wood that was running it for him. So the homies got at this wood. This dude, he'd been to the state. He had a little bit of size on him. He did all the burpees and the pull-ups and the water bags and all that shit. He used to walk around there like, one of those kind of guys. And they told him to jam up the French dude. He went over there into straight bully mode. First thing he did is he snatched the book out of his hand. He said, hey, check this out, man. Get the fuck up off of that bunk. Get your feet up off of there. And don't lay on your rack anymore. I'm telling you, this is what it is. That dude just looked at him like, get out of here, man. And he just, got up off of the bunk. Tried to get his book back from him. Got up off of the bunk. Walked around the side and said, give me my book. And he says, nah. He says, like, well, what do you want to do, basically? And they said, let's go to the back and handle it. They went back there. Hey, this big dude didn't even get his fists up in time. That motherfucker kicked him so many times in his face. Looked like some Jackie Chan type shit. Come to find out, he was a master of savate. If you know anything about savate, you know some badass shit. He beat this dude all the way down into the ground. Everybody was tripping. He even humbled himself, went over there to try to pick him up. This dude tried to grab him by the legs and take him down. This French dude proceeded to twist him up like a pretzel. He started to touch all these different pressure points. It sounded like something straight out of Friday the 13th, the way that dude was screaming. And that was it. Nobody bothered that French dude no more. As a matter of fact, he started teaching Tai Chi. Tai Chi to the homies and shit in there. Everybody's all back there with the, you know what I mean? Even myself, I was learning a little bit of it. Dude was smart, man. He had his brain together, and he knew how to fight. A smart fighter will outbox a strong fighter any day of the week. Just what it is, man. Another example, I seen some fat paisa. You used to hear him coming. I don't even remember what his name. I think his name was like Jaime or something. You used to hear him coming because you can hear him breathing. This other paisa that was in there, he used to call him the burpee machine. They had issues. They had words. They went back to the day room. This is Orange County Jail in the Thunderdome. They went back to the day room, and this big old fat dude beat the living fucking dog shit out of him. Face was all cut up, man. It looked like somebody sliced him up with a sword. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was for this guy. All that size and all that physical fitness don't mean anything to the person that's superior in the mind. Think of the story of David and Goliath. Little itty-bitty-ass David. One stone in a sling, he took fucking Goliath straight out. And then they chopped his head off. The guys that I've seen run the most successful cars were guys that you didn't even look the part. Little, fat, whatever, but they were smart. Compare that to the streets. How did that benefit me? I distanced myself from all the bullshit all the way to the edge. As far as I could push it. No, I wasn't running off the yard. No, I wasn't PCing up or nothing like that. But I wasn't going to be involved in the bullshit. The homies needed me. I was there. But my main focus was working this because I knew I was getting out to nothing. And nothing else was going to help me once that day came. Crunch time, I get out. I'm dropped in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma with nothing. I had to use my head and beat up that pavement every day wearing shower shoes in January, freezing ass cold Oklahoma, and finally got a job. Worked my way up to where I'm at now. Published 3 books, started a nonprofit organization, got a YouTube channel, got a car sitting outside that's free and clear, paid all the way off, a roof over my head, thousands of dollars in the bank, all these things. Why? Not because I went to mommy and daddy and I went to help from all my family, but I was a man, and I used my mind to cope with the negative situation and cope with the reality that everybody wanted to see me fail. My drive and my dedication was to put myself at this competitive advantage point above everyone, to where now people are asking me for help. That's success. True success is earned and gained by the man who is a man and does it himself. He doesn't do it off some woman he met off Plenty of Fish. He doesn't do it off rich parents or rich grandparents or the system or anything like that. But he puts his ass into gear and he gets the job done. And now I'm with the mindset that miss me with the bullshit. There ain't nothing that you can tell me as an excuse for why you can't get your shit together. I'm a career criminal. Been in and out of the prison system my whole life. All up in the streets, gangbanging, selling dope, doing all that my whole life. I got a letter from Social Security. They were asking me, how come I haven't built up enough credits for retirement time? Why? Because I've always been running the streets in trouble, working illegal jobs, and when I'm not doing that, I'm in prison. The greatest lesson that I had to learn with all of this was patience, coupled with humility, understanding that I am no bigger than anybody else, I'm no badder than anybody else. That I have my ups and downs, and I have my roadblocks that I stumble across every now and again. There ain't no such thing as mind over matter over every single thing. There is only coping with the obstacles that come your way. That is it. The people that I always admire, the people that I always look up to, are the people that have been put in the situation that I was put into. I've got a couple other examples in my life. Those people I gravitate towards. Those people I respect. I don't respect the dude that's living off of the pen pal or mommy and daddy or anything like that. That ain't hustle to me. I'm telling you this because there ain't nothing that you can't accomplish if you just take somebody like myself as an example for what it takes. A strong mind is it. Nothing else matters. I don't care if you have man boobs. I don't care if you're so skinny you're 110 pounds soaking wet. Don't mean nothing. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care how you grew up. If you grew up in poverty, if you grew up with money, if you grew up with whatever. None of that shit matters. All of this stuff I hear going on out in the streets, miss me. Excuses. Any man, woman, and child on this earth, especially if you're in the United States of America, you can become the greatest thing in your life and in the life and in the minds of your family if you apply yourself and believe that you have the ability to achieve any goal that you lay out in front of you. It's all about setting them goals and achieving them. I was just talking to some young man just the other day, 20 years old or something, not going to say his name, but he didn't feel appreciated, he didn't feel accepted. You know what I told him? Fuck their acceptance, fuck their appreciation. Whatever it is that you're good at, become the best at it, have that competitive advantage point over them, and when they come to you for help, you could throw it back in their face and remind them of how they treated you. Teach them a lesson of humility. People think that's scandalous. People think that's not human. It is. People need to be taught a valuable lesson about their conduct. You may be doing them a whole lot of good if you do that. You ain't doing them no good when you submit to that demand and you give in. Because are they going to appreciate it if they haven't appreciated you yet? These are the things that I've had to learn. People that come back into my life when they know I'm doing good, they're like, yeah, what's up, JD? Hey, you know, get the fuck out of my face. I ain't trying to hear it. Where have you been all this time? Not a single letter from you. And all this time that I was struggling to keep the roof over my head in that little shitty-ass apartment that I was living in, I didn't hear you calling me asking me if I needed anything. Taught him a very valuable lesson of humility right then and there. Everything is all about not sugarcoating nothing and calling people out for their bad behavior. I hold myself accountable just as much as I try to hold other people accountable around me. Because ultimately, we are the influence on other people's lives. And the best way to be the best positive influence in anybody's life is to be accountable and humble and patient at all times. That is victory. And that is how I have achieved everything that I got. I may not be a millionaire, but guess what? I got $1 billion spirit, and that's all I need. Prison Break Raw, uncut, uncensored, no holds barred, not sugarcoated, not politically correct, all up in your face, slapping you with that dick of reality, and I'm out.